Alright then. I've basically made it to the point where all the games that basically need 2 reviews, I've already basically reviewed them. So it's just time to basically move on to those last 2 games that need their full review, but haven't yet got it. And this is the highest rated one that I basically get to play, so Jeff Late, hello again, here we go. Pointless by J.M. Late. About. Pointless was written in 7 days as part of a 7-day roguelike challenge. Its home on the web is at Zinkland right there. So, is this possible to play in a browser? I have no idea. I guess it's it's still downloadable. The download is also right here, so that's whatever. You have spent thousands of lives repeating the same life. Dying isn't the end, nor is it the next step in the journey. It is just a restart to the beginning. But you can't just memorize lottery numbers, however, as each world is unique and different. You instead learn the actual rules of the world. Hundreds of lives were spent struggling to invent novel use of the materials scattered on this island. For many turns, you were driven by the desire to win. There must be a victory condition, some key that would unlock you from the wheel and let you move on, or just end. You have long since given up on that belief. You have done all that you can be done, and yet the prospect of another world still faces you. Features. What is the point of game features if they do not provide a way to win more efficiently? Surely all things below peak meta are useless baubles that should be shorn off and discarded as we seek the perfectly formed gameplay loops our dopamine receptors crave. Pointless has no win condition, so thus there are no unnecessary features, as there is no necessary ones. Live a long time or live a short one. You are dead at the end either way, and the world has been rebuilt afresh. Does a careful simulation of snowfall and drift during world duration contribute to any core gameplay? Irrelevant. There is no core gameplay. Whether you seek to defeat monsters in dungeon, farm mushrooms, build a boat, or sail, or just see how many toes you can lose, the quest is up to you. Pointless is as core a very traditional roguelike. Players in network will find themselves at home, but if the access to keyboard commands is daunting, hit escape and select pop-up menus on the option menu. Okay, so it's basically by Jeff Late. Let's just see what he's got here for us, and we'll go from there. So 70-year-old changes. It is what it is. So here to change since the center release. He hasn't changed anything. You got names. We've got a readme text. So Pointless is written in 7 days as part of a 7-day roguelike challenge. We've already seen this right here. If you're a Windows user, run it from the Windows Pointless.exe, so right there, I guess. Yeah, right there. How to play, so blah blah. Here's the actual keys right here. So in-game provides key lists of some generic guidance to hit F1 to access this. Press escape option has some configurations such as using pop-up menus that might appeal to more modern aesthetics. While the keys are available in the game, perchance you want to view it in a separate monitor or in old-fashioned school fashion, print onto day trees. So basically, here's the alphabet soup for those who want to play with alphabet soup. Wizards will be happy V keys are supported, so you can use the numpad or you can use basic V keys. If you don't like the default font, you can change it. This is a bit tricky, as a font file has 2 copies. Blah blah. Game design message. So best way is the game design again. So what is the point of game mechanics if they don't provide a way to win more efficiently? Surely all things blah blah. So as game criticism has developed, it seems to have latched onto these concepts. Similar to the literary review that cares only for narrative and exegesis unrelated to the plot, it seems seen as irrelevant. Game players have become focused on the winning condition. Pointless has no win condition, so thus there's no unnecessary game mechanics. Blah blah. Does this then classify as a toy? Maybe, but unlike a toy, there is the elements of the game here. It is merely the designer has abdicated from the responsibility of picking a win condition for the player. The player is free to pick a win condition, find the deepest depths, sail off to the island, lose all their toes, or any other task they pick. At this point, it becomes a game, but with the player becoming part designer. So basically, you can decide what you want to do. This, I believe, is how all games should be played. The dialogue of the game design end with the publication of the game. But the player of the game have their own duty to adjust the rules to suit their needs, which is why multiplayer games in the real world invariably start by rule synchronization, as if establishing Mahjong can only be a cog of games and blah blah. This, I believe, is how all games should be played. The dialogue of the game design does not end with the publication of the game, but the players of the game have their own duty to adjust the rules to suit their needs, which is why multiplayer games in the real world inevitably start by rule synchronization, as is established Mahjong may only be a cloud of the games and not refer to specific things. The trickle-on effects of players choosing agency on the game design are significant. For example, if there is a dominant strategy that renders the game boring, this does not mean the game can't be fun. It merely means the player should prohibit the strategy in their own playthroughs. Likewise, if there's an interesting mechanic that intrigues the player, they should explore it. They shouldn't avoid it if it's not optimal. Winning solitaire is an achievement. Winning is never the objective of the play. Enjoyably passing the time it was. Alright, so there's the credits, basically by Jeff Late. Final important note, have fun. Okay, so that was a lot of pointless text, but that's par for the course. The game's gonna be pointless anyway. So, all right, let's see what it's got for us. All right, so I don't see any sort of maximize feature here. There might be some features, but let's just go to windowed for you guys, basically see this in a better format. And so more or less full screen for the most part. Life once more courses through your veins, ending your too short respite. You hold off momentarily, savoring the moment before things begin again. Winter, Tolosh, will you try or end quickly or for next try? Underground, in the caves, it will be drier, if darker, or collect some branches and get a campfire started. Anyway, death is waiting. Press F1 for help. So basically it's a help. Help on the top is pointless roguelikes, movement, inventory, key bindings, making things, map lenses, repeat welcome message, making pointless. So basically you can see the credits there, I guess. Let's go to pointless. So that's just it again, roguelikes. So this game is a roguelike, so make a lot of assumptions that may be surprising newcomers. It is very keyboard focused. You can reduce the keyboard focused nature by turning on pop-up menus and the option to escape. The game is tile-based and turn-based. The left side has your map. You are an @ in the middle. Number marks walls, and dot is basically shows blockable terrain. Use the X to explore unknown symbols. The right side has the messages list. Watch this to see how effective your weapons are. The very bottom has a status line of importance if your health you want this high. The experience level tracks your experience. Leveling up is important if you feel like fighting deeper monsters. There is no save and continue. This is not due to the inability to write save routine. You can just quit and save at any point. But because, unlike traditional regressions, you do not reincarnate in the same world and can just memorize where the key items are, you instead have to learn how to play. Like we hoped for Sisyphus, try to find fun. So Sisyphus is the Greek king, I think, in Greek lore, by the way. So movement. So basically, V keys make you happy. There are many ways to move around. Hopefully one of them appeals to you. Please do not be offended as some arrow-circular methods are supported. You can move and attack in 8 directions, but so can your foes. Climbing down is with the greater than, less than. You can wait in place with period. To wait for a long time, perhaps to heal or warm up, press M to mediate. You can use arrow keys for forward movement with page up, page down, home end as diagonals. The number pad can be used if you're lucky enough to have keyboards still supporting such a thing. If your visualization is good, you can use regular numbers as well. You can't use the mouse. Put it back in the desk drawer where it belongs. Oh well, inventory. Items you pick up are assigned letters A to Z. The assigned letters is somewhat sticky, blah blah. So if you throw a dagger labeled A, it will be A when you pick it up. So good, he's got that sort of thing. This allows one to select it from one's inventory without having an explicit listed. Many commands that interact with the inventory will provide a short list of all letters that make sense for that command. For example, wield what. The prompt suggests the items A, B, D, J are weapons you might want to wield in your hands. Question mark will list those items in detail if you can't recall what letter is which. The asterisk will list all items you can carry in case you want to wield something non-sensible. Carry will toggle between inventory and ground items for commands that support that. So he's eating. Numbers signify you can type in number 2. For example, to drop D a specific quantity. If you find this too confusing, you turn a pop-up menu, so that's a thing again. So you can basically have keep bindings. So best decision repeating this all over again. You can unalive yourself. How very nice of that. But yeah, to go through, you have like, eat, read, zap, apply tool, quaff or drink. Shift to forget a spell, T to throw, M to make things, interacting. O, kick, close, circ, shovel snow. Blink and shovel snow, interesting. Information, look at square, report visible, inspect inventory, intrinsic, stuff like that. Shift for statuses. Elevation display, snow depth display, harvest tool display, so you can basically do farming and stuff like that. There's like the inventory management again, whatever. So, making things. If you don't want to freeze in the snow or be gnawed by rats in the caves, you probably need to improvise something useful using the available materials. You've haven't enough iterations to purchase art and thus have very large list of potential craftables. And we'll try to make something very with materials you have or are nearby. The list of possible builds are provided. Exteriors can be used to get a list of every possible build so you can see what will be needed to craft a boat or take it from the sale. The forests have enough materials to live with, but if you can be bothered to attempt something more complicated this turn, you will want to go to central mountains where seams of ore can be found. So yeah, just like ores and stuff like that, I guess. F1, and then ore map lenses and stuff like that. Centuries of practice have honed your mind to be able to instantly understand your surroundings. However, your conscious mind is limited in the amount of information it can handle, so you have a few tricks to filter important information. F2 toggles display of local elevation. The elevation is relative to your current height. Yellow is higher ground and cyan lower ground. A useful thing to tell which is uphill. Toggles display the snow depth. This lets you see at a glance where drifts have formed. F4 toggles the display of harvestable resources. You can G or comma out to get those resources. Trees can be further harvested by application of the axe to them, or seems by the application of a hammer. Acquiring rocks doesn't need a seam, and any non-ice bound mountain will suffice. Alright, well, let's press escape here. So here's a full screen. How very, very nice. Alright, well, let's just turn this back off then. And I'll go to, full screen. This game's a roguelike, so make a lot of assumptions, blah, blah. Oops. There. Now I full screened it, maybe. Possibly. Finally. Alright, so, toggle pop-up menus. What's, oh cool, so now it's basically popping up this stuff right here as opposed to, on the, console itself. Toggle verbose messaging while sliding, continue playing, and quit and save. I have no idea what that does, but whatever. Okay, so dormant grass, you are now cool. You enter a short west to east hallway, hemlock tree. You see a black bear 20 north and 12 west. 20 north and 12 west. That must be like, way up here somewhere. Did this crash? Oh, well, why not? It crashed. Alright, well, let's just try this again. I like how having spent more than like, any more than 10 minutes just trying to like, read everything basically that's like, documented here. Again, it's pointless to read it, but why not? So, escape. I want to toggle full screen. You become aware of your exposed skin and realize you're once more alive. You take inventory of what this turn brought. Ice, pus. Will you even try or end quickly for next run? The caves are comfortable. You can always escape to them or collect some sticks and get a fire lit. Either way, death is your destination. So I'm going to die, but how will I die? Open work in snow. You see a blue jay. So we can see a blue jay. You see a rabbit. How very nice. Reeds, bare bushes, more reeds. And mountain coal seam. So it seams of ore. Flint deposit. Mountain. Icy mountain. All right, well, enough of that. You stop looking. Pop-up messages maybe. So yeah, mouse doesn't do anything, but you know, it's there. So you see a rabbit, a blue jay, black bear, coyote. I kind of feel, by the way, if you're basically like, you know, seeing this far out, you shouldn't be able to see everything around you, but whatever. What's the O? You see a large rock. Okay. By the way, you can see trampled snow, because basically, you know, I'm running through the snow here. What's a D? A deer? That's a coyote, apparently. Okay. I'm not sure it's supposed to be crashing this much. Maybe it's because I have it full screen. I'm not really sure. It could be that I should probably just go to Windows. We'll see. Probably should actually open it first. And we'll see if this works now. Life again runs through your veins, ending your too short respite. You dwell a bit, savoring the moment before things restart once more. The cold pus will even try or die quickly for next try. Underground, in the case, it will be protected. If darker, break some sticks off those trees and you might choose to light a fire. But you have learned where any path leads, Steph. So blah, blah, blah. So poplar trees, hemlock trees, spruce trees, birch trees, fir trees, ash trees, oak trees, whatever. What's a B? You see a black bear. How very nice. Await. Await again. I have no scrolls. All right, so let's see here. How do I basically, like, you know, make stuff, I guess? So eat, read, zap. S is using items and stuff like interaction. So pick up harvest with G and comma. You break off a good sized stick. So a stick. Apply. This matching, you know, can't apply anything. So inspect what? Your inventory. A stick. Inspect what? A. So stick. You can't just snap off any twig from a tree and call it a stick. To be worth it being a stick, it needs to be hardwood. To withstand the uses you will be putting it through. So, all right. Now I gotta go to the keybinds again. So, inspect inventory of I. In my inventory, I can wield with W. So, wield what? I wield a stick. Not sure it counts as a weapon, but sure. Poplar tree. You pick up a good sized stick. Maple tree, you're not chilled. You pick up a good sized stick again. And I just realized there's also that guy right there. Oh, I can make something, right. I've got a wand, a club, a bow. Make a makeshift club. So I got club. Let's wield a club. Now I got a real problem with the fact that, like, you know, a lot of my, like, you know, keyboard is sort of, like, you know, gone. So I'm having difficulty basically figuring out where my keys are at this point, but whatever. You see a deer, so capital C is a deer. There's a black bear again. Make what? So I can make a campfire of 2 sticks, a wand, club, or bow. Let's go build it in this direction right there. You light a campfire, snow melts. The fire burns dormant grass. It grows brighter as snow melts. I'm cold, but you know, hopefully this will keep me a little bit alive. Okay, so you can send a fire if you want to just basically kill yourself. I'm not cool by it as opposed to like, you know, being cold. I'm at full health again, so hooray. So there's dormant grass, dormant grass. So essentially this is a survival, like, you know, role, like for the most part, not a traditional one, but whatever. Let's break off like 10 sticks or so. Okay, so we can have torches, a stick with pitch blob, campfire, charcoal, spear, wand, club, or bow. Let's make a spear. You sharpen a heat tree and treat your spear. You wield a spear, you can wield a club. So now basically I've got like 9 sticks, a club, a pitch blob, and spear wielded. Let's make ourselves a torch maybe. So you assemble a torch. Can I wield a torch? Maybe not. A pitch torch optimized for producing light over a long time. Is it currently like, you know, going? I can't really tell. So maybe have to apply a torch in order for it to make, you know, be of use. So apply the torch. You light a torch, lit torch. You're now hungry. Oak tree, you're not cooled. So I got lit torch, it's going down slowly. You're now comfortable, you're now cool. I'm chilled again. I have no idea where I am, by the way, so. I'm starving, I'm shivering. See a cardinal. And I'm not freezing, so I'm dying from, you know, being cold. I was randomly running around at this point to sort of, you know, take a gather surroundings basically. Oh, I died. Okay, so as your life force ebbs, you momentarily consider what you may have achieved on this regression. Very quickly, for you have done this enough times to know the conclusion. There is no new thing, as there's nothing new for you. But despite this, you resign to awake quickly enough to be doomed to face another turn. Hit a key to report your final stats and regress to your start. Your next life may end differently in particulars, but your inevitable destination is the same. So basically your final status, you were dead, you were starving, you were wielding a spear, you were level 1 with 0 out of 100 experience. You were in floor 0. You had 10 toes. Awesome, I had 10 toes. Press any key to play again. To build in our world, and it starts again. Consciousness returns after your Thomas trip into the domain of death. Wintry ground fills your sight. Winter, damn. Should you even bother or unalive quickly for next try? The caves will be dark and creatures filled, but out of the snow, snap some branches off those trees and you could light a fire, but you know where each path leads death. So basically got like, you know, a coyote. There's water. There's a black bear. Now I will say that I think that's a little bit too quick. I basically like, you know, went from like, you know, starving and stuff like that. So from fir trees I get to pitch. So there's a paper sheet. So now I'm basically freezing and starving, which is not great. All right, let's just make a campfire, so basically you can like stop that from happening. Now I could make a bow, but make what? I want to make a bow. You can bash with a bow for 1 blunt damage. It is exceptionally awkward to aim. You can pierce at a range of 10 with this 1d8 piercing damage. It uses arrow for ammo. You want to staff bent under pressure of a bow, staring with the aid of arrows. You can ping cushions foes at the same distance. Now, the thing is, like, you know, how can I make arrows is the thing, right? It's cool that basically I can make a lot of stuff, by the way, but oh, I lost a toe! Hooray! It'd be nice, by the way, if like there's like some like, you know, if it basically like, you know, gave me like a list of like stuff I can make, and it's not really doing that. It's just like, you know, you can make this with like what you basically found. So if I know like, you know, I want to make an arrow, how do I make an arrow? So that'd be really nice to basically like, you know, be available for it to me. Let's see here. So I can make a blank scroll, charcoal, campfire, torch, spear. Let's make a spear. I'll wield the spear. So basically we're going to go after this coyote a little bit. You stab coyote, it's now scratched. It's now bloodied. It bites me, you're not bloodied. And I'm severely injured. It's a dust gate. I'm dead. So yeah, I died trying to fight coyote. But yeah, I think like the biggest issue is that like you die really, really quickly, and you also basically have like the issue like, you know, how do I basically make arrows and stuff like that if I just want to figure that out. So part of the games like these these survival games is they basically have it like, you know, survive long enough to sort of figure stuff out. I don't think that's really the case here. It's not great. All right, we can make something with this. Let's make the campfire first. So the fire burns bare bushes, blah, blah. Make the spear again. The fire spreads. That's not great. Well, whatever. It's fine. So let's get over here. So a resonance blob of pitch from conifer. Very sticky, so be careful you don't get it on your hands. Usually you use it for torches, but it could also be used to seal the planks of a boat. So you can basically make boats of this stuff if you want. I think coyotes will run away from you unless like you're, almost about dead. And it might be that we have running as a thing here. There's a blue jay, a spruce tree, water and ice. Now starving. Now deer I expect to run away from me, so now I'm like dying of like, just being too cold and stuff like that. Well, let's just make a campfire right next to me. I'm still freezing, by the way, but apparently, like, there we go, I'm shivering. So, I'll note that usually like these survival games, you want to basically have some sort of help to sort of get players on their way, or have like, some indication of what they can sort of do. Because really just wandering around, not really like, caring to like really like, figure out how to play the game. So that's the thing, right? Oh, I got two coyotes coming after me, so I am dead. Because, trying to make a club, I'm probably going to get... Whoa, these guys die quickly to clubs. Maybe I was using the wrong weapon on them. Alright, so, we will make a campfire. You pick up coyote corpse, pick up that corpse. Now, how do I make knives is a thing, right? So, you carefully char a stick, charcoal lump. The crumpled remains of a vanquished foe might be good eating on this, if you're hungry enough. And one thing eternal between regression is hunger. And then charcoal lump. A lump of wood char, but not fully reduced to ash. A useful source of black for those things like inks. Okay, wait. I'm not hungry enough, maybe. So there's the X. You see rabbit again. There's our coyote. And cool. Oops, I stepped into fire. And you heal real quickly too from wounds as well, so I'm not comfortable, that's fine. I'm very hungry, that's fine. It could be too that getting close makes you get, like, you know, starving faster. So, inventory, that's not what I want. I want to go F1. Key bindings. How do I eat something in my inventory? So, it'd be nice if I can go in my inventory and actually like just like use stuff from in there, but whatever. Eat with E, so eat the curry corpse. There, I ate it, I'm not full. Now already starving again, so like, you know, it just seems like you freeze really fast. Faster than you really need to. Oh wow, it extinguished in the snow apparently. Making our campfire. Ash mushroom. You eat the ash mushroom, you're now very hungry, snow melts. This is mediated a little bit till I get, like, you know, you're too hungry to rest, so I'm starving. Alright, so there is like these layer stuff, so it's just like, you know, starting to figure those things out a little bit. So F2 tells the local elevation, F3 shows snow depth. Okay, so there's F2. Yellow is a higher ground, cyan is lower ground. And you can see where snow basically is right there. So deeper snow perhaps at lower elevations, less snow at higher elevations maybe. Kind of hard to tell. I've yet to find a way down, which is kind of an issue, but whatever. I freeze, that's expected. Here's our ash mushroom. Alright, well I think I basically had enough of this game for the most part. I mean, basically it's a survival game that it sort of like lacks the indication of, like, you know, trying to like get you to live, so you have to basically learn everything. So I mean, that's probably the charm, but you know, at the same time, it's just like, you know, doesn't make me want to play it. So not much for saying that. So take care.